Hey guys, welcome to the 2015 season, week 1. We are ready to go. We have our picks for you guys. We have the Go Hards and Go Softs. This is my Real Man segment, of course. We did the Go Hard and Go Softs last year in the playoffs, and we really enjoyed doing it for everyone. So obviously the Go Hards are going to be the guys that we expect to score major points this week because they're matchups. And the Go Softs are guys to just watch out for because they probably won't score as many points as they typically do. So if you have a better person to put in that position, that's what you're going to want to do. So I'm going to start off with my first Go Hard. And that is Doug Martin, running back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying, Doug Martin, we haven't even heard you guys talk about this guy in a couple years. Well, there is a reason for that. But let's go back to his rookie year in 2012. He did have 1,454 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. Now, that was by far his best season, but let's keep in mind that in 2013, he was injured for most of the season, so he lost that one to injury. Now, last year, again, he was injured a lot of the season. He did play 11 games. He went for 494 yards and 2 touchdowns. Those are by no means amazing stats, but the Buccaneers were in a transition year last year. Lovie Smith had just gotten there. They were obviously terrible. That's why they had the #1 pick in the draft this year. So not a lot went very well for them last year. But I like him in this week 1 matchup, and here's why. They're playing the Titans, and the Titans starting nose tackle, Sammy Lee Hill, is out with an MCL. So that's going to be a guy that is there, supposed to be stopping the run, that's not going to be there for the Titans. So they have to go down on their depth chart. And the Titans gave up 137.2 rushing yards per game last year. They were the 2nd worst team against the run this year. I don't think their defense has improved that much to help them out very much. And let's keep in mind, Jameis Winston is a rookie quarterback. It's his first real game. Of course, he did play in the preseason, but hey, it's week 1. There might be a little bit of nerves. If he does get in any trouble, it's always good to lean on the running game, and Lovie Smith likes to run the ball anyway. So I think this is a great week to play Doug Martin. You need to get him in your lineup if you have him. I know I'm putting him in one of my flex positions, so go with him this week. Okay, so my second Go Hard for you guys this week is none other than wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. of the Giants. Yes, I'm talking about this guy. And why am I talking about this guy? Well, let's check it out. In 2014, his rookie year, he played 12 games. Obviously, he was out a little bit for injury, but he had 91 receptions for 1,305 yards and 12 touchdowns. Now, look at the amount of times that he was targeted. In those 12 games that he played, he was targeted 130 times. That's a lot. So Eli was looking his way last year. Eli is going to continue to look his way this year. Now, they play the Cowboys, and cornerback Brandon Carr had hand surgery earlier in August, so that hand might still be affecting him. That's one reason that I like definitely starting Beckham in this week 1 matchup. And Victor Cruz is most likely going to be out with a calf. So that's one target that's already probably down for Eli. Of course, he has Ruben Randall to throw to. He has their tight end, of course. But Beckham's going to be the guy that he's looking for. Obviously, he had a phenomenal first season, and I think he's going to have a great week 1. I think it's going to be a good matchup. It's a division matchup, so you know that they're going to all be playing hard week 1 on both sides of the ball. And let's move on to my Go Softs. Of course, these are the guys that you want to watch out. They're probably not going to get you a lot of fantasy points. And my first one this week is running back Alfred Morris. Now, I know this one might be a little surprising. You're thinking, why would I not play Alfred Morris? He's a starting running back. He's the only key running back that they have there in Washington. But here's why. His stats, if you look, have gone down every single year that he's been playing. In 2012, he had 1,613 yards and 13 touchdowns, so that was a phenomenal year, his rookie year. Then in 2013, they went down to 1,275 yards and 7 touchdowns. And in 2014, it went down to 1,074 yards and 8 touchdowns. So as you can see, every year he's getting less and less yards, which I'm sorry, but if you play fantasy, that's a concerning thing for you. Another reason is they are playing Miami. Miami has an incredible front four. Obviously, we know they went out in free agency. They got Ndamukong Suh. They have Earl Mitchell, Cameron Wake, Olivier Vernon, and that's just their front four that we're talking about. If you've watched them in preseason, they are wreaking havoc on the quarterback. They are wreaking havoc on the running back, and this is just going to be a tough matchup, I think, for Alfred Morris. Also, Kirk Cousins, he's obviously the starting quarterback that the Redskins have. They decided not to go with RG3, and if he's in trouble, if he's getting a lot of sacks, you know, they're going to try to lean on Morris, but the problem with that is Miami's going to know that, and they're going to start stacking 8 in the box. If they're seeing that, hey, Kirk Cousins can't do anything against us, then let's just stop the run and let's make Washington's offense not do anything against us. So I don't like this matchup for Morris. So this is a week that if you have someone better, definitely stick them in. And let me go to my last go soft for this week. This one might be a little surprising to you guys, but my last go soft for this week is quarterback Tom Brady. Yes, I know you guys drafted him and then you were so excited that his suspension got lifted and he's starting week 1 and yes, let's put him in. You know, if you have a different quarterback, you might want to start a different quarterback. And this is one reason why. Now, I know it was preseason, but he did not look very good in preseason. Week 3, which is when the starters play the most in preseason, they played versus Carolina. He only went 7 for 13, 84 yards, a touchdown. So the 84 yards and a touchdown is pretty good, but he threw 2 interceptions. So that's a number that I don't really like to see. That 7 for 13 is not phenomenal. It's not very Tom Brady-like. Now, I know you're saying, well, Jenilee, that was preseason. Now it's the regular season. That is true, but let's look at who he has to work with. LeGarrette Blount is suspended the first game, so he doesn't have his starting running back. Brandon LaFell is on the PUP list, so he's one of their top receivers from last year that's out. Edelman will probably be there, but he didn't practice much because he was injured all of preseason. So they are very thin at wide receiver, which is why they went out and signed Reggie Wayne, and Reggie Wayne obviously asked to be released. So the reason I don't think he's going to have a great first week is because he just doesn't have a lot other than Gronk out there to work with. Edelman could be a little bit rusty. And they are playing the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. This obviously kicks off the season. But the Steelers were 6th versus the pass last year. Now, I know the defense of the Steelers has changed a little bit in the offseason, but that's a pretty high number to be versus the pass. I think they're still going to be pretty good this year. And they are very healthy. The Steelers defense is healthy. Ryan Shazier is back and healthy. This is his 2nd year. He's a key linebacker in their system. He's been making plays all over in preseason. He looks ready to go for this 2nd year. So, again, I just don't think Tom Brady is going to put up typical Tom Brady numbers in this first week matchup. So if you have someone else to stick in there with a better matchup, then you should do that. So those are my real men go hards and go softs for week 1. And Greg, of course, is going to have his beasting out players and his picks for this week as well. Stay tuned.